Thank you for the introduction and thank you for coming. Yeah, it's the first time I'm in at Houston, but we are like in a big family. We are like a family, but small world. And we met with uh, Bill was saying, no, almost 50 years ago, classmate. And with Bob, we met 12 years ago in Budapest. With Mary, we met in Taiwan 2 years ago. And with one, we met in Rome about 20 something. So just to say, we are small world, but big family. So I'm really glad to meet you all. No, yeah. So that just as Bill said, occasion to share something. Since I'm here for a conference, so I just put the things that I share also with you tonight. Um, wait, huh? How does it work? Okay, so uh, you can see, what I'm going to share is my first of all my own testimony, and then yeah, Bill said I'm doing business. People ask me what kind of business. I said business of my father. So yeah, in fact, Jesus was asked, when Mary and Joseph looking for him, uh, don't you know that we are looking for you, so hard? Jesus said, don't you know that I have to take care of the business of my father? So I also say how I went to yeah, and then how I shifted a bit to academic work, and that's why I'm here. But I want to going forward. I want to be more on the spiritual side. First social and then academic, and then more spiritual. So I just share the experiences I gone through, and then at the end to say something about, since we are very much the Focolare for bridge building, also Christian culture with Chinese culture, Asian culture. So this is what I'm going to share tonight. So as I said, some personal testimony. Uh, that's uh, when I was small. I was born in China, but then grew up in Hong Kong. Recently, there's a movie, quite touching movie, about overseas Chinese. I don't know if you ever heard of it. As a box office breaker, in China, over in Southeast Asia. I think even here uh, in the U.S. it was shown, premium. So in the Asian film festival, you, uh, it's the English title is Dear You, which in Chinese a love letter to Grandpa. Is about these overseas Chinese going abroad to Malaysia, Thailand, and yeah, which is in my case, my grandpa went to Thailand, and then my mother was born in Thailand, but then she came back to China to study Chinese, and all that. Very much related also to my. So I just put up this some of these pictures, and then how I met a group of people living the gospel, and then how I became Catholic. I was baptized when I was 16, and it changed my life. And nowadays in China, the people say, there's a slogan saying that um, we want the Chinese people to have a better life, or to recover the role of China in history, to be like once upon a time when the country was in the Tang Dynasty, very tolerant and with opening up and exchanges via the Silk Road. So for me, it's like I discover a new life, a better life. The reason I went to China is precisely to share this better life with others, with my countrymen. So I've lived there since then for 31 years. That's in Hong Kong when you were baptized? I was baptized in Hong Kong, and then I've been to, as Bill said, Italy, Philippines, Taiwan, before moving to uh, China, Shanghai, Beijing. I've been in Shanghai and Beijing for 31 years. I think Julie was asking that picture before, was you being baptized? Yeah, I was baptized when I was 16 years old in the Philippines, by the way. Huh? Again? In the Philippines, that's where you were baptized? Yeah, well, in Mariapolis. So the people who lived in yeah. Okay. When I was 16, and yeah, I was given the name Chiaretto, yeah, by Chiara. So with Francis, we met 20 years ago, probably even more. Yeah. So I went to Shanghai. This picture. The other one is my brother, and the previous picture you saw my brother also. This one. I I was the smallest, the youngest in the family, and then my brother, my sister. Then going there, yeah, I since I speak different languages, Italian, English, so it was not always easy at the beginning, but I easily found a job. So I was working to promote exhibitions, working with foreign companies, in the Milan exhibition, Milan Fair, and then in a way it prepared me also. I worked at the end at the Expo of Shanghai 2010, and then 2019 there was an expo in Beijing on horticulture. I was assigned by the Holy See as the coordinator of the Holy See Pavilion. It was quite exceptional because China invited the Holy See to participate in an expo, for the first time. So I was there. I met also the Bishop of Beijing, and yeah. Then, of course, the reason I went to China, the real reason, is another business, as we said. So we try to serve the local church, to build up the communities there. For example, in Beijing, Shanghai, there also they're metropolis. People from students, young people, families living there, and also coming from other provinces. So we have a chance to visit them also in their hometown. So we are concentrated in Beijing, Shanghai, but then from there we try to irradiate, also to cover, yeah, our community. Although we don't officially say, well, we are the Focolare international movement, but it's just to be there to serve the local church. Yeah. Wait. So we visit the countryside, with different age groups, children, family, young people, or even in poor villages, or with students, yeah, doing things like youth camp. Then, as I said, about 15 years ago, from this working more socially, I found this job. But then I shifted my focus more on academic. That's when I have written my thesis. It's not that I'm people say, "Ah, you are a writer." No, I'm not at all a writer. Those are my just my thesis, my academic work. Then when you wrote your when it's written, it's better to publish it. So it became my book. The latest is my Chinese dream. Uh, Dialogue, an encounter with Christianity. It's also one of the uh, the Focolare is meant to live this dialogue. We are like not only dialogue, but to create an encounter. So I was at the Gregoriana, the Pontifical University of the Jesuits in Rome, and yeah, I in 2012 I finished my first doctorate there, and then I started. After that, I started also teaching in seminaries, in different seminaries. I've been to all 6 or 7 still running seminaries in China, in Beijing. A couple of them in Beijing. There's one in Shanghai, in Xi'an, in Jilin, and different places. So these are seminarians and some sisters. This is a national seminary of Beijing, and then also in Wuhan. Wuhan, very familiar the name. Where everybody knows about Wuhan now because of the COVID. And then I also attended some international conferences, especially to help dialogue, as academics, which is I find which is good, because very often there are sensitive issues, with especially with politics, geopolitics, tensions, and sometimes religion can be sensitive. Instead, in the academic field, it's but normal to talk, to dialogue. So I was in different many conferences like this one in Houston. I was in Hong Kong, Beijing, and Rome for this kind of conferences. And in the conference, for example, I met Father Zhou, who became then the present Cardinal of Hong Kong now. He's a Jesuit. He was attending these conferences like me, and also another Belgian priest who's 95 years old now. And precisely this conference of Houston that we held by the U.S. China Catholic Association was giving him an award at this conference. So I'm really happy to know that this happens because people say, well, many people are interested now. There's how's the relationship between the Holy See and China? How is the agreement? You know that there's a agreement between the Holy See and China on nomination of bishops, a provisional agreement. And they said, well, all of a sudden, after 50 years of no communication, all of a sudden, this Pope Francis, will actually make a breakthrough to sign an agreement with mainland China. I said it's not true that there was no communication. There have been unofficial communication, with some missionaries, and in fact they call them the Gang of Four. These 4 missionaries who did a lot, to bringing about this dialogue. One is Lazzarotto from the missionaries Pime from Italy. He's a very, very close friend of the Focolare, and we have been good friends. He just passed away 2 years ago, 99 years old. And then another one from the French MEP fathers. He was in Singapore, and who passed away also a couple of years ago. And then another is a German Father Roman Malik, an SVD priest. and then Father Hendricks, this Belgium CICM priest. So they were called the Gang of Four. In fact, Father Hendricks is the only surviving, still living, 95 years old. No? So really beautiful, no, that this award was given to him. Then many are interested about maybe probably Uncle you, also you, maybe it was talked much about, but where may not that everybody understand what's the content of this provisional agreement between. Somebody even accused this, oh, it's secret. It's instead a cardinal at some point said, you historians, professors, when you go to when you study his church history one day, you go to the archive, you may see that in this agreement is some sort of a blank sheet, because, as Pope Francis said, what is important is to start a process, to initiate and dialogue, then just the content there, because it's provisional, because it can be improved, it can be perfected with time. So this is the. So I will share my personal experience, because as I said, when I finished my first doctoral, my thesis came up in 2012. Also with the hope of my advisor was Jesuit priest. The end of his life, 15 years of his life, he was living in Shanghai. But then I did this in Rome, at the Gregorian University. And in 2014, my thesis was published by the publishing house Orbis here in the U.S. In the 2015, it was published in Italian. Then at the Vatican Radio, at the beginning of 2016, was I had this book launch at the Radio Vaticana in Rome, and one of the speakers was the Monsignor Celli, who has been following the dossier, this negotiation with China for decades, And then at that time he was sharing, seems that we come, that there's no result, after these decades of how to say, up and down, this relationship, with China, between the overseas, he was sharing that, his experience. But then after 3 years after, at the end of 2018, there was this agreement between the Holy See and China was signed on the nomination of bishops. It's really a breakthrough, because there had been, even recent popes, since the time of, I think, Paul VI and then John Paul II, there was from the side of the Catholic Church, from the Holy See, want to have a certain dialogue with China. Then it's only with Pope Francis that this really happened, signing an agreement, meaning the Holy See, the Holy Father has a say in naming the bishops. It has been a controversy for some decades, So we would say it's really after. So I was just. It so happened that my book was on dialogue, and then this happened, and then somehow I was being involved, or being a testimony of that. So I was able. I sent some of I wrote to Pope Francis, and yeah, and also offer my books, some of the books I've written to him, no? Yeah. So it was an occasion. And Pope Francis answered, me with a letter, with very beautiful letter, very touching for me. Every time if I'm a little down, I would read this letter, and yeah. So it's da Santa Marta, no, from Santa Marta. He wrote this letter saying that he used I, to as a personal relationship, these books that I offer as a gift to him. And then he used he was talking about culture of encounter, as we all know, no? Because there's so much indifference in the world nowadays with conflicts and all that. And then he used the word, this urgent need, of to to live the culture of encounter. And then he used the authoritative we, representing the whole church, saying that we should make use of our reciprocal riches, to cultural and historical, to um, to be to build a common future of harmony. You use the term. No? Also, China taught a lot about the common future of mankind. So we have a common objectives. That's as the church is that we, and to proclaim the gospel, for the dignity of children of God, and then he pinpointed that to have a full and visible communion of the church with the bishops, with all the bishops. In fact, with this agreement, actually, this letter was written uh, right after the agreement in October, and I received this letter in November. So it's really coming from very vivid, uh, that this division, which has caused much suffering, for many pastors and for the Christian population, for the Catholics, and so he emphasized that we should uh, continue in this pathway for reconciliation and yeah, of to promote communion and reconciliation, so for peace, we really. So as the church, we should do that. And then he ended with an I, giving a blessing, or it's like the vicar of Christ, we're very spiritual, to a blessing for those who, for me, for those who work for that, for that aim. So it's really, really beautiful letter, for me. So somehow this dialogue continue, I would say, So I was able to, I participated first person in some of these conferences, on about the first arrival of Christianity in China, why the Silk Road, and with scholars, professors from Italy, a group of professors, or from Austria. I was involved in these conferences from Austria because at the University of Salzburg, specialized in Oriental religions, so they were invited to China, to Xi'an, where the ancient capital where the Silk Road started. And a couple of years ago, um, it was proposed to have actually by China to the United Nations to have a day of the dialogue among civilizations. So every year, starting 2025, June 10 is the date of dialogue among civilizations. So then I presented my latest book, my Chinese Dream, Dialogue and Encounters with Christianity, at the Radio Vaticana, meaning where the dicastery of communication of the Vatican. So it's really like it's the official how to say, the Holy See endorsement. The Holy See wants this dialogue. And in fact, the speakers were Father Lombardi, a Jesuit who has been the spokesman for the Holy See under three popes. Father Spadaro, who is the Civiltà Cattolica, the editor. Now he's the General Secretary of the Dicastery of Culture and Education. And then other groups, Professor of History from San Egidio, Professor Agostino Giovagnoli, and the chief of Fides Agency, which is the news agency of the Propaganda Fides, evangelization for people. So just to say, for me, it also the day before Pope Francis went to Mongolia, I was in Rome. We had a very short encounter in a public audience, and he told me, he said, tomorrow I'm so when he said tomorrow, I said, happy trip, Holy Father. But he didn't finish. He said, tomorrow I'll fly over China. That's what he wanted to say. And then, in fact, there, he called the two cardinals of Hong Kong, Cardinal Zhou and Cardinal Tong Han of Hong Kong, saying that in China we should be good citizens and good Christians. Just to say, there's no contradiction. So we should love our country, love the church, and be a good testimony, in society. So I last year when I was in Rome, I was able also, we were very close in Castel Gandolfo. I was able to present my book to Pope Leo, and we can see a very short video at the end. We can hear directly what he said. And now I move to another part which is more. Many people may think, all these problems. So China is not Christian, so therefore many people think, maybe here in U.S., Christianity just arrived last century, and China talked about Opium War, century of humiliation, but it's not true that Christianity is just a recent event in China, arrived just recently with all these problems. Instead, Christianity arrived in the early centuries, by the Silk Road. It's called Jingzhao, the religion of light, because there was no name how to call this religion. So it's called Jingzhao, which means the religion of light, which bring light and illumination. And historically, I think many scholars are saying that historically, many say, it's Nestorianism, because it came from East Syriac Church, from the Roman Empire, then moved to Constantinople, the East Roman Empire, was very active, and the missionaries came to China at that time, like entering into a new culture, and like Buddhism, also coming from India, actually has uh, entered China, no, a little earlier. But we would say it's misleading to say Nestorianism, because historically it's a heresy, you know. Instead, there was really what was recorded. There was no heresy much, no, in this stele that was sculpted. No, it's in the museum. I just visited that in Xi'an, the ancient capital. Where many people visiting China. By the way, China nowadays is visa free for many European countries, Japan, Korea, maybe US. I don't know. I'm not sure. It has to work out. Uh, and unilaterally, and Europeans and Japan, Korea, they come to China visa free. But Chinese still have to queue up in the embassy in order to go abroad, you know, because we are many in China, so it's not easy to. Uh, anyway, just to say that recently I also went some months ago. I was in a newly opened museum. This monument was there, you know, in the Beiling Museum, about this piece of history. And actually, it make use of many elements, Chinese elements, you know, like the cross, which is Eastern Church cross, you know, at the lotus seat with cloud patterns. These are leitmotifs, Chinese leitmotifs. Not really. Some say it's Buddhism. Yeah, also Buddhism adapt that. But the early missionaries actually were very sensitive, you know, to really present Christianity, you know, respecting local culture, using cultural elements, you know, of Chinese cultural element. No? Just to say that even the recent popes, um, Ratzinger, before becoming Pope Benedict, he said in 1993, he was speaking to, as cardinal, he was speaking to Asian bishops. He said, we're in Asia. We don't simply speak of one way enculturation, but it should be a two-way of interculturality, meaning also the receiving culture, those who received gospel, has something to offer. It's like a mutual, it's two ways, like a mutual gift, you know? And then uh, John Paul II, more specifically, was talking about mutual gift between, talking about Matteo Ricci, you know, the Jesuit who was exemplary, you know, in his, you know, in bringing the gospel to China. He respected local culture, trying to dialogue with Confucianism. So he was saying that there should be a mutual gift of Confucian humanism and Christian spirituality. You know? And yeah, nowadays, if you go to Beijing, you can still see these monuments, you know, Jianguomen, the second ring road, with these instruments, astronomy instrument brought by the Jesuit, by the missionaries to the Ming Dynasty, during the Ming Dynasty, still there as a living testament to that. If you go to Shanghai, so remember, when you want to visit China, you go Beijing, Shanghai, and Xi'an, the ancient capital. That's what I wanted to say. And also the Great Wall, the Forbidden City, or the what do you call it? The Terracotta Army, Xi'an, the first emperor. And this one is Shanghai. You know, there's the founder of the the Catholic Church in Shanghai is a layman, Xu Guangqi. He's a Mandarin official who's a disciple of Matteo Ricci, became a government official who became a Christian, who invited the Jesuit to Shanghai, and so he was considered the founder of the Diocese of Shanghai, and he was precisely developing science, developing, for example, the agriculture, developing sweet potatoes, camote, to feed the poor. So nowadays there are monuments to remember that. And he's a layman. He's not a priest. Not so. That's to say, our role. But now it's maybe a little too impegnativo, come si dice, demanding for you to at this hour to say. But just to launch some ideas, I see that there are elements, and propensity for dialogue. So I say something more on culture, on for example, this idea of dialectics, dialectics of Hegel, this philosopher, German philosopher. Bill is an expert of that. So like even dialectics, meaning thesis, antithesis, and then synthesis. He said, and then even just to say, communism, the Marxist materialism came from that, developed from that. There are some defects of that, but one point that I try to point out is that in his thesis, he said this is a development of history. There's a when he was using this example, when a bug developed, it flowers, flowering in the flowering, the bud disappear and then comes flowering. When the flowers become fruit, then the flowers no more, and this is how. But instead, Chiara Lubich said, there's a dialectics of love in the Trinity. When the Son, Jesus, when Jesus is on the cross, he does not deny the Father, the previous, so to speak. He denied himself. He took up all the sufferings, and then in this, being, this total being, God the Father give everything to the Son, and the Son empty himself, especially when he cried, my God, why have you forsaken me? This total emptying of self or denial of self out of love. So this is the Holy Spirit, the love, which is unity, and then Chiara said this dialectics of love. We among us, we should live this dynamics, this Trinitarian relationship, of losing ourselves, doing the will of God. I find elements in the in Chinese thought, philosophy, Taoism, that this being and non-being, can generate one another, in this relationship of harmony, which is, we say unity, but in Chinese culture, Chinese like to use the word harmony. So I find really there's elements, for dialogue in this Trinitarian relationship. Anyway, another idea that I think we can also dialogue Eastern culture and Western culture is the concept of Wu Wei. Is Wu Wei, meaning Wu, You Wu, being, non-being, emptiness and fullness. This Wu is like the positive, negative, yin and yang, and this emptiness is this non-action, action of non-action. Yeah, it's very Asian. But I just to make it quickly to compare with this Wu Wei, in with Christian mysticism, like uh, go with the flow. No, Wu Wei meaning we don't exert human effort. We go with the flow. No, in fact, in sport, we just had the World Cup. No, also in basketball. No, go with the flow. No, flow state. No, meaning you are in a state that you make the first shot, and then your teammate will pass the ball to you and make another shot, because you are in a state of grace. You are in the flow. No, they say. Again, in the zone. No? So, but before that, you need endless practice. No, so I compare with, like in asceticism. No, like Saint Teresa, the baby Jesus, she finally found a little way, which is um, the arm of Jesus. It's like an elevator, coming down. Because the elevator was first invented there when time of Teresa Bambino's baby Jesus. Maybe she heard, she saw in rich people's family. So it's like the arm of Jesus coming. You just have to entrust everything to him, and this is a way to arrive at this mysticism, the union of God in a state of grace. So I make this her little way, actually, to make it very simple. Even St. Augustine said, when he with his this restless heart, looking for God, and at the end it's God who comes towards him, and he cannot refuse. But he regretted so late. I've known you. Uh, it's God who comes to him, saying that I am who I am. So it's something very profound. And to end this, I would say, you know the how do you call that, the coat of Pope, coat of arms of Pope Leo, uh, in in illo uno unum. What does it mean? I find it very, very beautiful, because I always think that classical Chinese is very synthetic. Instead, this is in Latin, even more synthetic. In three, 4 words, it speaks so much. In this, in him, in this he who is one, we are one. So in him who is one, him who, they are three and yet one. Triune God. So like 3 levels. The first level, the God, the Father and the Son, they are one. One God. Very profound. Mysticism. And then Jesus said to these disciples, you should, he told the Father, I and you and me, and I have conserved them, so that they love one another as the Father and the Son. So the disciples, well, the Christians, we are those at the second level to live this Trinitarian relationship, so that the world may believe, so that all may be one. So it's for everybody. So we can live this Trinitarian relationship in these 3 levels, God, Father, and the Son, the Trinity, and we, like us, among us, the disciples of Jesus, the followers of Christ, we live this so that it can be applied in all fields, in sports, in the World Cup, or in. That's why we celebrate all together the joy of being together in all fields, so the economy, ecology, in politics, and all that. So this is our opportunity to live this motto, not only of Pope Leo, but our motto, no? And to end, I pray that you fulfill the dream of Pope Francis to come to visit China. Oh. This is my book. I will present it at Radio Vaticana next week. Oh, for me? Yeah, for you. Okay, thank you very much. I have been to China. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. Come again. I hope so. So I said, we pray that you, Holy Father, you fulfill the dream of Pope Francis to come to China. He told me, I've been to China, you know. I said, we have that. Come again. He said, I hope so. He said, no, I realized, I found out that this video was spread also in China, no, and they're happy. I heard that even the authority, because they don't know the new pope, no, an American pope who knows what attitude he has. But then he said it so spontaneously that he would like to visit. Yeah, although he has been to China as a tourist, but if he comes as a pope, then really. Yeah, yeah. He was when he was superior general in I don't know 2000, 2008 or something. He went to China. Yeah. So yeah. So thank you first of all for listening. So now we can have a conversation, and maybe to answer your question. The it has been, as we said, no, it was the key issue for decades, no, and as we know officially, China is communist, no, atheist officially, and in fact, we've gone through different periods, no, at the beginning, and adapting stage. You know, at some point there was cultural revolution. All the religions were prohibited, but then in the early at the end of the 70s, early 80s, China applied they implemented the open door policy. So before that, Cultural Revolution, religion were prohibited. Now after that, there's opening of churches, reopening. No, so the priests before some priests were in prison. No, there were for example, Bishop of Shanghai was in prison, but then he was one to in the 80s reopen all the churches, in Shanghai and the seminaries. But there were different attitude. Some will adhere to that, others will stick to the past. And how to say, there these two attitudes. But then, yeah. So the problem, the key issue is the nomination of bishop. Who China wants some kind of auto determination. Because at the beginning, in the year 50s, China assigned new bishops, sent to Rome for Rome to approve in the 50s. But then Rome didn't approve those bishops because it was under communism. So there was a a break. No, that's how the so-called patriotic association started. No, so it's like Christianity, Catholic Church. It's a foreign religion, so it's a control. But I mean, from the Chinese perspective, no. So Rome doesn't approve. No, China is communism. So that was how the Patriotic Association began. No, but then the Holy See, in fact, uh, talk about that. Even in Hong Kong, missionaries was careful not to pronounce excommunication because it was a particular situation, special situation. China was under communism. Then came the Cultural Revolution, and then this opening up. So actually, starting the 50s, actually 1957, you know, China started to nominate their own bishops.
Was it Catholic?
Yeah, Catholic. And Vatican at the time didn't condemn it because it's a very delicate special situation, and Vatican didn't even use the term excommunication. No, so afterwards in the 80s, in the 90s, I think so. Say, so the bishops are in a very difficult situation. No, they some waited and then locally it's nominated by actually the bishops conference and the patriotic association nominate bishops, no, but not Vatican, because then the government doesn't want the church to have direct contact with the Holy See because it's a foreign authority, no. But bishops started to, it's not publicly announced, of course, because bishops are living in a conflictual situation. They secretly to write to the Holy Father, and the Holy Father would approve, explaining their situation. Even they may become bishop already, no, or consecrated officially by the by the by the Catholic, by the bishop, local bishops conference, bishops council, or you may call it, and the patriotic association. So it's conflictual. But then it was John Paul II who started to trying to tackle this problem, but it's never solved, no, until Pope Francis with this agreement that the to put it very simple words, the Holy Father has veto power, meaning the Holy Father has to confirm it. You know? So it's like a parallel nomination, no? Because at the end, uh, in nominating the bishops, I think in different countries can be different formula, different ways of the people talk about Vietnam model. People talk about, but I think in Italy it's different from Germany. No, in Germany many are Protestant Christians. No, in the U.S. Certainly the Holy See has to consult local bishops' conference, nearby diocese. In Vietnam is another case. In China is another case. So the Holy See had this flexibility. You know, this is the 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 content of the agreement. Actually, it's very simple. No, I mean it's not officially announced, but not to just put it in open discussion, public discussion like that. But they do it in a very discreet way, so that this is agreement which has been renewed 3 times. No, the last time, the first 2 years, another 2 years. No, meaning they can improve the content, or put more content into it. And then the last time was 1 year ago, and for 4 years. Yeah, but you raise a good question. Many people have a general perception. Oh, there's a church faithful to to the Holy See, and then another one is to the government, the patriotic church. It's not. It's not like that. No. Yeah. Um, it's there's one church, as you said. No, and so we say all clergy. No, they they want to have communion with, whether independent from your inclination or your relationship with the government. But all clergy, all Christian, all Catholics want to have full communion with the Holy See, with the Holy Father. No, but then there are different attitudes. No, throughout time. No, even right from the start, as I was mentioning that there had been these two attitudes. When the churches were reopened in the 80s, early 80s, when the open door policy, when the churches were reopened, no. So these two attitudes, but it doesn't mean that one is faithful to the. But all are in this conflictual situation, no. And in fact, it was Benedict the 16th who said that now we are in an age of communication. We can always already write to one another. In fact, this was what happened, no? And bishops have written to John Paul II, has approved most of the bishops were approved. So at the end, it's a political problem. It's a cultural problem. It's not so much just a religious problem, because at the end, most of the bishops were already approved, except a handful. Really, you can count with one hand, which is how to say? No, they were the one in the how to say, the core group of the representing the bishops conference, and together with the patriarch, to nominate the bishops. So it's a relationship between the Holy See and the Chinese government, which has to come up with an agreement. So the solution they found is like a parallel nomination. No? The bishops conference, in fact, it's not 100% settled the issue. No? But the Holy See wants to approve the bishop conference of China, which is not yet approved. No, for this reason. And so the Synod of Bishops, there were for the first time Chinese bishops to participate in it. No? And now just in Indonesia, there was an Asian Bishop Conference, and um, the the bishop from Shanghai was invited, but he didn't go. The issue was it was still not yet approved. The bishops' conference. He is the head of the Chinese Bishops' Conference. He was invited, so still some, but they are it's a work in progress. No, yeah. So they already participate in the synod of the World Synod of Bishops, but then at the Asian level, the FABC, then little by little, maybe can still there are still things to more to sort out. No, so Pope Benedict was saying that the underground situation is not a normal situation, because nowadays it's a contradiction of terms. No, you cannot be, because the government knows everything. How can you hide? Where do you hide? Underground. Again? How did I meet? Well, I was invited to youth camps and of the Focolare. Actually, it was my brother first one, no, and then he he was the first one who went to Lopiano. He became Catholic when he was uh, just grade 6. No, he was the first one in the family. Without, I mean, the family doesn't. My mom doesn't know, didn't know, and then I also, joined this. I discovered this better life. You were going to a Catholic school, but we were not Catholic. You were Catholic. You were going for the education, and your mom wasn't Christian. No, we were not. We were not. No, none of us. Like most Chinese, we are not Christian. We are Confucianists, Taoists, and Buddhists, if you want. No, but with no particular inclination, shall we say? No. So afterwards, I went to me too. I went to Lupiano, and then my mom. Yeah, formation center. We live in community. So my dream was to go to. I said there are millions, thousands of millions of people who don't even know Christ. Like in my hometown, my relatives, my friends, my parents, they don't know. So it's our responsibility that I bring. I try to. I remember another young fellow, no, with us saying that it's a responsibility, that they do not know Christ, but through our life, through us, they get to know Christ through us, no. So it's our responsibility. And then my mom got upset because I I went to the. She was baptized also. We were the first generation of Catholics. My parents are the second generation. And then their grandchildren are the third. No, but then we went to the Focolare. We didn't get married. We live in community life. So I told my mom, huh? Both me and my brother, and they were upset because I have only two sons, and they both don't get married. And then I told her, it's your fault. You sent us to Catholic school. Yeah, also in seminaries. Yeah, it's not a very normal situation because I came from Hong Kong. I'm not local Chinese, no. So still there's some certain allergy, you come from outside, and who knows what you teach, what you bring, what ideas from Hong Kong. But then, yeah, I I think they know me. I mean, it's public. I I think they know what I say, what I teach. Yeah, we are in Hong Kong. The Focolare is very active in ecumenism and interreligious dialogue because it's like we got the charism, of the Focolare to work on that, and also some actually joined from mainland, to with the this pilgrimage. It's very very fruitful. Uh, and in fact, in previous years, Maria of Hong Kong, well, the population of Hong Kong is fixed, no, delimited. So the Hong local participant would be like say four or maximum 500 people. All the rest came from. We are more than 1,000 in the Mariapolis. More than half are from mainland China. We try to bring them to participate and then go back and to serve the local community. Now it's more, we concentrate more locally rather than going to Hong Kong. Of course, there's still difficulties, no, with the situation because the government is somewhat allergic of religions, with foreign connections. But let's hope, let's pray, this normalization of relationship would improve. Yeah, and yeah, I think, for example, even in politics, geopolitics, there always tensions, no, uh, among countries, wars, and that. But I'm convinced, no, that as I've tried to show, no, also in the conference, this there are possibilities, no, for dialogue, culturally speaking, no, and then I would even say the Holy See and China relationship is so important, no, although not apparently, no, uh, but uh, it's like a thermometer. I think China, if can really come, there's an agreement already, no, but if the relationship really improve, normalize, become normal, I think it's like a thermometer that Eastern culture, Western culture can really uh, to build a common uh, future of harmony. Then there would be more world peace. No, so I think the most consequential relationship is not, as the newspaper said, a U.S.-China relationship. It's a Holy See China relationship. So we pray for, and we pray and work for that. Yeah. Thank you.